Good morning, students. We hope you all are staying at home and keeping yourself safe and healthy. Welcome to the story writing session. Story writing is a part of your CBSE English curriculum and carries the weightage of 10 marks. It is believed by creating and telling a story, children learn to organize their thoughts and use language in variety of ways. Someone rightly said, "Those who tell the story rule the world." Any story consists of two parts: title and content. The title of the story must be catchy. It should be suggestive of what's lying ahead. The learners should try to use figure of speech in the title to make it more enriching. The next part of the story is the content part of it. The learner should have 3 to 4 paragraphs in their content. Include the hints given in your question. The content should also have a moral in it. With that, let's take you through the W's of story writing. Any story needs to have 5 W's in it. So let's warm up with the W's. Who are the characters? That means characters in any story are very essential. Where are they? It refers to the setting of the story. When is it taking place? The time of the story or the time of the action. What is the action? What is the problem we are talking about in the story? And what does the character feel? The emotions, the feelings of the character during the time of the trouble and when the conflict is resolved. All includes the 5 W's of your story writing. Story writing consists of few basic steps. Let's glide through those steps for the better understanding of the process. Step 1. Ideation. Think of an idea. An ideation is the root of any story. For that, take hint given to you and ideate on the plot. Step 2. Create a character and a setting. Learners will create a character and setting which can be local or global as per the hints given in the question. Step 3. Beginning. The learner needs to expand on their original story idea and set the opening scene. For example, a superhero who's afraid of spiders, a cat who thinks she's a dog, or a blind man who wants to get educated. All these beginnings enhance the chances of greater appeal to the reader. Any beginning that draws the interest of the reader is a good beginning. Step 4. Conflict. A story with no conflict can be extremely dull. A new twist or new character can bring the required conflict in your story. Step 5. Turning point. It usually occurs in the middle of the story and turns the course of the story. For example, characters discovering something, a surprise entry by a new character, or a secret hidden which comes up to the surface. Step 5. End. A satisfying ending is the perfect way to end a story. What happens to the character after the conflict is resolved is the way to identify the ending. Any learning by character or restoring of order can be taken as a satisfying ending. Let me take you to the story pyramid. Any story starts with exposition. The beginning, character, and plot is introduced in the exposition of the pyramid. From there, the story builds up the action along this trajectory. This portion is known as rising action, where all the drama, all the conflict builds up. From there, we reach the climax part or the top of your pyramid, where the conflict is at its peak. From there, we try to resolve the conflict along this course with the following action. And we reach denouement, which means the end. Any story needs to follow this pyramid for the complete structure. If all the points of pyramid are followed, you have a perfect story in front of you. Now here is a small grid for you. Let's have fun with the story. S stands for setting. Setting of the story. Where is it located? Before starting or jumping into the task of story writing, it is very important for the learner to decide upon the setting of their story. Next we come to T. That means talking character. So let's talk about characters for a minute. The characters of the story cannot be a flat ones. They need to be multidimensional and should have various shades. All characters cannot be black and cannot be white. They need to have the mix of emotions in them, so that the reader is able to relate with them in the real life. We come to the O, that's oops, the conflict part of it, where all the drama or the problem faced by the characters in the story are located. It is one of the most important part of the story, as it gives and unfolds the basic problems which the writer is writing about. Now we move on to R, resolve it down. Depending upon the character and how we have colored them in the story, each character will decide how do they resolve the conflict which is there in the story. We come to the last part of it, which is the yay part. That means the problem solved or the lesson learned. It refers to has the character been able to solve the problem which was there in the story, and if yes, have they learnt any lesson from it? That's where the moral or the learning becomes very important in the story. With that, we come to an end of it. I have a task for you in front. Given below is the famous story of the ant and the grasshopper. We've just discussed the story grid with you. With the help of the story table given, break the story into various parts according to the heading. I'm reading the story for you. In a field one summer's day, a grasshopper was hopping about, chirping and singing to its heart's content. An ant passed by, bearing along with a great toll an ear of corn he was taking to the nest. "Why not come and chat with me?" said the grasshopper, "instead of toiling and moiling in that way?" "I'm helping to lay up food for the winters," said the ant, "and recommend you to do the same." "Why bother about winter?" said the grasshopper. "We have got plenty of food at present." But the ant went on its way and continued its toil. When the winter came, the grasshopper had no food and found itself dying of hunger, while it saw the ants distributing everyday corn and grain from the stores they had collected in the summers. Then the grasshopper knew it is best to prepare for the days of need. Now your task is, with the help of this story, you break it down into the various grid which was given in the story table. Thank you all so much.